By day, the woman is an iron-faced judge. By night, she is a demon from hell. She specializes in punishing those acquitted by the court. One murder after another catches the police's attention, and he begins to suspect the judge in the courtroom. But the police don't know that the killer he faces is not human.
난 악마예요. 보다시피 지금은 강빈나라는 인간의 몸을 빌려서 살고 있고요.
Not long ago, a woman named Zhang Guangna was stabbed to death by a man in a park. After her death, her soul leaves her body, and guided by the spider lily, she walks toward the gate of rebirth. The strange gate opens before her. She should have gone to the false hell, but due to a classification error, she is sent to murder hell. There are humans inside, who do not reflect on their crimes, and cannot receive forgiveness. They are to be thrown into the abyss of sin for the harshest punishment. Zhang Guangna is thrown in. This is a mistake, but the judge of murder hell Karina. She is a capricious worker. Even though Guangna explained that she didn't kill anyone and was stabbed to death, Karina finds it troublesome, and is unwilling to investigate. Karina throws Guangna into the abyss of sin, forcing her to serve her sentence and repent. The hell assistant Varric refused to cooperate, saying there is no record of the woman's name on the list. How can someone be casually sent to the abyss of sin? Hearing this, Karina snatches the seal, and sends Guangna away directly. The overall supervisor of Hell Ball becomes aware of the situation. He comes over to inquire. Karina states that anyone sent here should certainly be thrown into the abyss of sin. She doesn't care about the system catching the wrong person. Ball ignores Karina's excuses to punish her capricious behavior. He orders her to go to the human world for a year. She must capture 10 murderers who show no remorse. Then she must take their lives and send them to hell. Assistant Varric is to be punished as well. If they fail to complete the task, they will both disappear. The hell demon Karina entered Zhang Guangna's body. Coincidentally, this human is a judge, so Karina can consider it part of her job. Moreover, there is soda in the human world, which Karina can tolerate for now. Today's court case is somewhat special. The defendant is police officer Han Duowon. Not long ago, he faced trial for misconduct and abuse of power. This time, he is on trial again for violent enforcement. However, Han Duowon insists on his innocence, so he did not hire a defense attorney. A few days ago, Duowon was pursuing a suspect who had assaulted a citizen and fled. Since the suspect was armed with a knife, Duowon disarmed him. After the suspect was arrested, he was sentenced to a minor fine and released immediately. Moreover, the suspect falsely accused the officer, claiming that Duowon used excessive force and injured his wrist. The prosecutor has submitted the medical report.
들어 눕기만 해도 끊어진다는 전치 2주 진단서요?
The prosecutor stated that the plaintiff's hand is injured and he cannot eat, and the police should not use excessive force. Karina is annoyed by this. Police officers are human too. When they encounter an armed assailant, should they treat them gently? If this is excessive force, then this is excessive accusation. This trivial matter has even made it to court. Don't think I don't know. There are vested interests behind this incident. Karina allows Duowon to make his final statement, as she is eager to leave work. In fact, Duowon only needs to apologize. The matter can be resolved. Unexpectedly, he does not apologize even in the end.
반성하는 게 아니고요?
잘못한 게 없어서 반성할 것도 없습니다.
Karina fairly rules Duowon not guilty. This is the first time the officer encounters a just judge. He catches up with Karina, ready to apologize. She takes off her clothes and hands them to Duowon, asking him to help deliver them to the 5th floor, to the 18th Criminal Division. Besides that, Karina tells Duowon not to think too much. She will not empathize with anyone's case. She will judge cases based on the facts.
내가 왜 형사재판부 판사라는 직업을 좋아하는지 알아요? 나쁜 놈들을 아주 많이 만날 수 있거든요.
Although Duowon doesn't understand, he still hands Karina a business card, offering his help if she encounters trouble. Then Duowon took the judge's robe and went to the 5th floor. He enters the 18th Criminal Division. In fact, the officer Ju Mandao is the hell assistant Varric. Meanwhile, Karina arrives at the church. She is a designated demon judge. Although Karina feels a bit out of place, she is not afraid of the church. At this moment, a woman is praying. Her name is Che Minjong. She is beaten by her boyfriend every day, and has received death threats. Originally, Karina was supposed to handle Minjong's case, but the other party decided not to submit a punishment agreement. Karina finds this strange, and comes to gather information, but Minjong is unwilling to say much, so Karina can only follow her. Minjong calls a patrol officer, and Karina explained that she is a prosecutor, but her ID is not with her. She also has a diagnosis of delusions in her bag, making the situation quite awkward. When Karina wakes up in Gwangna's body, she finds it difficult to adapt to human life. Karina mutters about demon hell in the hospital, and the doctor thought that she is a delusional patient. Now the patrol officer also doesn't believe she is a judge, and takes Karina back to the police station. At Do-won's workplace, they unexpectedly meet again just one day later. Do-won makes a fair ruling for Karina, and she diligently investigates after her shift. He greatly admires Karina. Do-won appreciates this judge. The next day, Minjeong's case goes to trial. Do-won specially goes to the courthouse to observe. The defendant Won Ching-jun has violently assaulted the victim 3 times throughout, and after the victim proposed breaking up, he continued to threaten her. The defendant's attorney acknowledges the acts of violence but denies the threats. This can be confirmed through the non-punishment agreement submitted by the victim. The prosecutor points out that the victim gave up punishment out of fear of retaliation from the perpetrator. However, without concrete evidence, this can only be a one-sided assumption. The prosecutor submits photos of the victim's horrific injuries. The scars are truly shocking. When Ching-jun squeezes out a few tears, claiming he was very angry at the time and acted instinctively. He says that if they broke up, they would die together, and this was just an attempt to keep Minjeong from leaving, not a death threat. Karina feels speechless. In fact, according to Article 264 of the criminal law, he is facing a 1-year prison sentence when Ching-jun has been evading his crimes.
민정이를 정말 사랑했다고 말하고 싶습니다.
선고기를 뵙죠.
When Ching-jun truly is a master actor, playing the role of someone with deep feelings. After leaving the courthouse, he mocks Minjeong's parents. Noticing this, Do-won contacts Karina. If Won Ching-jun is released, he will undoubtedly cause more trouble. He might even hurt Minjeong. Karina agrees with his assessment. If Won Ching-jun escapes judgment for murder, she will kill him and send him to hell. This plan is quite clever, but Karina is a judge, and she decides to first meet Minjeong's parents. She wants to hear the victim's story firsthand. Minjeong submits a non-punishment agreement, fearing retaliation from Won Ching-jun, because even if he is sentenced to the maximum penalty, he will be out in a few years. Minjeong doesn't want to live in fear, hiding for the rest of her life. The demon Karina smiles. In other words, Won Ching-jun will retaliate against the victim. He fits Ball's requirements perfectly. Karina rushes to the bathroom and applies mint lip balm under her eyes. Karina forces herself to cry. Then she continues to investigate the case. Later, Do-won learned that the 3 talked for 5 hours. Karina couldn't help but cry. The officer is deeply moved. He has come to see the demon as an angel. On the other side, the Hell assistant is investigating unresolved serial murder cases. Finding 10 murderers within a year is too difficult. If they can find a murderer who has killed 10 people, Karina can sentence him to death. Then they can complete the task assigned by Ball. But Karina has devised a plan, specifically for Won Ching-jun. Soon, the final judgment day arrives. Karina acts unconventionally. She stated that given the victim's request for leniency, and the defendant's acknowledgement that he will work to correct his mistakes, therefore, the court exercises discretion, and fines Won Ching-jun 3 million won. As soon as these words are spoken, Minjeong's parents' expressions change. Do-won's eyes turn red with anger. He stops Karina to get clarification, but she calmly replied that the victim doesn't want to pursue the perpetrator. What more can the law do? A judge is not a psychologist. Everything must be determined according to the law. Karina finishes speaking and drives away. Do-won warns Won Ching-jun not to go near Chae Minjeong in the future. The law will not forgive him a second time. Minjeong locks herself in her rented room, refusing to see anyone. Do-won leaves her a panic button watch, hoping it can help her, and all Karina can do is waiting for Won Ching-jun to show a flaw. In the meantime, Do-won visits Minjeong's home whenever he can, rain or shine. In the blink of an eye, 2 weeks have passed. The team leader can no longer stand it, and tells Do-won to cut back on his visits. After all, there are other cases to investigate in the department. On the other side, Minjeong gradually lowers her guard. She wants to move back home to live with her parents. Karina knows the perpetrator won't be able to hold back for long. She takes out a mirror and writes Won Ching-jun's name on it. She saw him purchasing a murder weapon. At night, when Ching-jun sticks close to Minjeong's door, he falsely claims to be a police officer, saying he's delivering something for Officer Do-won. Hearing this, Minjeong asks him to leave it at the door. After the sounds outside fade away, she opens the door through the security bars.
보고 싶었어, 민정아.
when Qingjun forcefully kicks open the door and throws away Minjong's watch, when Qingjun violently beats the woman, and Minjong can only kneel and beg for mercy, when Qingjun warns her that, if she dares to call the police or tell her parents again, he will kill them, Minjong decides to seek death. Karina watches this scene and reveals a satisfied smile. Now it's her turn to go to work. Karina intercepts Wen Qingjun as he exits the apartment. She draws her judgment blade, and her pupils shimmer with purple light. She hasn't had the chance to strike yet. Duo-Wen drives to the scene, and Karina has no choice but to put away her weapon. Duo-Wen is about to hit someone again, but Karina grabs his hand. If he commits misconduct again, he will lose his job. Duo-Wen tries to break free, realizing that Karina is extremely strong. Soon, the police arrive at the scene and take Wen Qingjun back to the station for questioning. Karina follows Duo-Wen to examine the crime scene. She can see what happened at that time through the traces left at the scene.
재판 결과 직접 보니까 어떠세요? 이제 와서 미안하세요?
전혀?
Karina tells Duo-Wen not to lose sight of the main point. She is merely making a judgment. According to the law, if there's someone to blame, it should be the law. Moreover, even if Wen Qingjun is sentenced to a year, will he be docile when he gets out? Duo-Wen has nothing more to say to Karina, and turns back to the station to interrogate Wen Qingjun. At that time, if Duo-Wen hadn't arrived in time, Minjong might have hanged herself. Wen Qingjun breathes a sigh of relief, knowing that Minjong is still alive. Wen Qingjun says that if she died, he wouldn't live either. Moreover, it's normal for them to argue. During their relationship, she willingly opened the door for him to enter. Is it reasonable for the police to intervene in a couple's argument? Since the arrest warrant hasn't been issued yet, the station can only release Wen Qingjun, but this time, they will not let him off the hook. Duo-Wen plans to sleep downstairs from Wen Qingjun. Karina knows that Minjong is still alive, but she is best at making excuses. Breathing does not mean one is truly alive. Minjong's mental state is chaotic. She has no hope or courage to continue living. She is no different from the dead.
그렇다 쳐도 그 문정준이 직접 죽인 게 아니.
정신적 살인도 살인이야.
The assistant asks, aren't the police supposed to apply for detention? This time, are they unable to intervene? Karina laughs at the assistant's naivety. When Qingjun agrees to cooperate with the police investigation, he has no intention of fleeing, but the station's arrest warrant is not approved. The laws in this country are baffling. As such, Duo-Wen can only guard the victim's home every day. One day, just as he enters the elevator, when Qingjun appears from the hallway, he covered the peephole and the camera, preparing to knock on the door. Suddenly, his phone vibrates in his pocket. When Qingjun glances at the content and leaves, the next day, Duo-Wen visits Minjong's home. She realized that the camera has been covered only when she hears the doorbell. This reminds Minjong of that night, triggering an acute stress reaction. Minjong says the person outside is Wen Qingjun. He also lied that day, claiming to be a police officer. Minjong's father looked at his distraught daughter and realized that calling the police is useless. As long as Wen Qingjun is alive, his daughter will not find peace. Minjong's father tells his wife and daughter to hide in the bedroom, and he rushes out with a kitchen knife. Fortunately, Duo-Wen is quick and manages to disarm Minjong's father in time, preventing any casualties. The family is on the brink of madness. At this moment, Duo-Wen suddenly receives a call. Wen Qingjun is dead. 12 hours ago, the text message Wen Qingjun received is from Minjong. Minjong asks to meet him to resolve their issues face to face. At midnight, when Qingjun arrived at the agreed location, the demolition of Huangtiandeng is imminent, and the residents have already moved out. When Qingjun walks into 323-21, it is an abandoned standalone villa. He hears the sound of high heels coming from upstairs. When Qingjun takes out a hammer, the judge descends the stairs. When Qingjun is unclear about what is happening, he heard Minjong's voice. In the next moment, the altered voice assistant walks out. He requests Karina to leave work early.
너 때문에
야근했잖아요.
From now on, the true judgment begins. Karina reveals the weapon in her hand. When Qingjun senses something is wrong and turns to run, the surroundings shift. He finds himself in a restaurant. All around him are couples on dates. Karina wants Wen Qingjun to experience everything that Minjong went through. This is the rule of hell. The scene changes when Qingjun becomes a couple with Karina, but the latter is moody. She loses her temper. Whenever things don't go well, she threatens to kill herself. As long as Wen Qingjun breaks up with her, he will be beaten up by Karina. He locks the door and hides in the bathroom to call the police. Karina will break down the door and beat him. By the time the police arrest this crazy woman, when Qing-jun quickly moves away, the court releases Karina. She comes looking for him like a ghost. When Qing-jun wants to call the police, Karina threatens him. If she gets out of prison, she will definitely kill him.
내가 헤어지면 말래.
Karina picks up a hammer. She smashes Wen Qingyuan's leg. After Karina finishes her task, she frantically apologizes again. Karina swears she will never do this again. Karina perfectly portrays an abuser. When Qing-jun is mentally tortured to the brink of collapse, he hears Karina's voice trembling. In the end, he chooses to end his life. In the next moment, he returns to reality. Karina stated that she and Wen Qingjun are playing a couple. She feels disgusted too, but this is the process of hell's judgment. Only by making those unrepentant criminals feel the pain experienced by the victims, hell judges can only take action. Unexpectedly, when Qing-jun doesn't give up, he actually dreams of launching a sneak attack. He sees Karina as a woman, so he thinks he might be able to kill her. Unbeknownst to him, this human facade looks weak, but inside is a demon. Karina is like a hunting beast. She toys with her prey, when Qing-jun is like a flea in her hands. Soon, he is beaten by Karina to the point of not being able to get up. He can only kneel and beg for mercy, admitting his crimes. He says, "I deserve to die."
그럼 죽어. Fire inferno.
Karina takes out the blade of judgment. The blade pierces Wen Qingyuan's body. Then Karina stamps him and sends him to hell. Thus, she has sent away the first criminal. The scene shifts, returning to the present timeline. Duo Wen heads to the crime scene. Wen Qingyuan's death is horrific. He is beaten so badly that his face is bruised. There is a branding on his forehead, written in ancient Greek, the Valley of Hinnom. However, the crime scene is very clean. No traces of blood can be found, because Karina called the hell cleaning crew. Regardless of fingerprints, bloodstains, or hair, or the scene damaged by the struggle, everything is restored to its original state. In the blink of an eye, Karina has a bad reputation in hell. The cleaning crew is afraid of offending her. They take their work very seriously. They carry out the cleanup perfectly. They throw the body at the front door, which is also Karina's idea. She wants everyone to know the consequences of doing bad things. On the other side, when Qingyuan's autopsy report is out, although there are multiple fractures on his body, the key cause of death is excessive bleeding after the stabbing. Before the incident, the surveillance at Minjong's front door captured when Qing-jun on the phone with someone. The police retrieved the call records and found that the contact used a disposable phone. Additionally, the crime scene is in a demolition zone, so there are no surveillance cameras. In short, this case is very troublesome. The only information is the mark on the deceased's head, and the Valley of Hinnom is indeed hell in the Bible. After Wen Qingyuan's death, Minjong's life returns to normal. She specially goes to the police station to thank Duo Wen. Minjun said that a few days ago at the church, she met Judge Jiang Guangna. She was confessing to the Lord at that time. She feels that being happy about Wen Qingyuan's death is a despicable thing. The judge tells her not to feel guilty.
그 어떤 말보다도 위로가 됐어요.
At the same time, Karina is reviewing the case files. She wants to select the next suitable candidate. The director suddenly asks to speak with her. Karina had just been discharged from the hospital and wasn't in good health, so the dean has been holding back and not mentioning it. But recently, Wen Qingyuan's case was only fined 3 million won. Moreover, as a public servant, she wears heavy makeup every day and dresses strangely. These issues need to be addressed.
저 지금 완전 품있게 입었는데.
The director is very angry. If it weren't for Congressman Zhang, I would have exiled Karina to the countryside long ago. It turned out that Jiang Guangna has support behind her. This supporter is named Zheng Zijie. He is a government congressman. Guangna has an engagement with the congressman's eldest son, but the situation seems complicated. What role Congressman Zheng ultimately plays still needs to be seen. At this moment, Karina and her assistant return to the apartment. This is the only building in the area that hasn't been demolished, because Karina spends her salary on luxury brands. She can only rent a place like this. Moreover, the landlord is a Christian. Every time a residents' meeting is held at her house, Karina has to wear sunglasses and hide the cross. In fact, she could choose not to attend. but the landlord's pastries are too delicious. The landlord holds the meeting to get everyone to sign the petition against the demolition. She wants to save the building. Tenants who sign will have their rent halved and management fees waived. Karina is worried about not having money. She immediately signs her name to escape her current predicament. Karina plans to use Detective Han Duo 1 to find 9 criminals that meet her criteria. After all, apart from the court, only the police have access to more bad people. Karina lies to the people at the police station that she is Duo Wen's girlfriend. She comes to inquire about the police's location.
그럼 거짓말을 도대체 왜 하는 겁니까?
거짓말한 게 문제면 지금부터 나랑 사귀어요.
Duo Wen can't stand her entanglement anymore. He can only agree to sit down and talk. Karina sees the fish taking the bait. She gets Duo Wen drunk. Then Karina asks him again, are there any criminals at the police station who haven't been arrested? Duo Wen says he has killed 3 people, and he has no regrets about it. Karina is very happy to hear this. She wants to ask for more details, but Duo Wen falls asleep. There are still traces of tears on his face, as if he has some unspoken secrets. The next day, Duo Wen wakes up. He found out that Karina hasn't left yet. As Duo Wen is about to approach her, Karina suddenly stabs him. This is the content of episodes 1 to 2 of Hell Judge. For those interested in this show, don't forget to like, save, and follow. Stay updated on new developments.